Hi guys, it's Drake, and this video is going to be a start to what will be a new series on my channel. I think in the last few years at least, I've put a lot more focus on interesting presses, at least, paying more attention to who publishes what and trying to, keep together kind of a running idea of who the best presses are. And today we are going to be starting this Best Press series with one of my favorites, Ugly Duckling Press. They're a press out of New York. I think they've been running for almost 20 years. Their first catalog that I could find was from 2003. So almost 20 years old, amazingly enough. And yeah, they're kind of a smaller, maybe what you call an art press, really nice quality paper, excellent typography and design and printing, very high quality stuff. I honestly don't know how they do it. They must have a rich benefactor or something, is the only thing I can imagine, or somebody's good at writing grant proposals. But nonetheless, it's one of the best presses that I know of today. There's a handful that I put up there with them, a couple others that are going to be in this series, just to throw out a few. Contramundum Press is definitely up there, maybe my favorite. A couple more common ones, Dalkey Archive, New Directions, those are excellent, and then some university presses, but it's not a complete list. But anyway, so yeah, today I'm just going to show you pretty much, I think this is about all of the Ugly Duckling Press books I own. There might be a couple that I just neglected to collect for this video, but anyway, I just recently got a package from them too, and I'll mention which items of this came in that package, but it was extremely well done. Like the packaging and the different stuff they included, and yeah, I was just extremely impressed with the care and detail they put into, even something as simple as packaging an order. So this here, I just put this here because it shows the name. It's a catalog. It's kind of interesting. They just threw it in there. And then they gave what I guess is some promotional material for different books. And I was just really interested in this. This is like a bookmark. You can see kind of some of the white on it. It's like a velvet type thing that collects dust easily, but isn't that just impressive, these flowers like that? And then here are just some books that they are selling now. Bobby Louise Hawkins. This book actually looks pretty neat. I was actually thinking about getting it before they even sent this. And then Ova Completa by Susana Thenon. Lost Literature series. I'll talk about that more in a second here. Stumbling Strauss Waltz. And then subscribe to Ugly Duckling Press, where you get quite a lot of stuff, $20 a month, $240 a year. And they have lifetime subscriptions too, which, might be a pretty good deal if you have the money to throw around to do that. I don't, unfortunately, but this one, Zero readers, an epic. Kind of interesting. And then here is where we get to the actual books. So in that package I was mentioning, this next book actually came in it for free. So this is their 6x6 series. And it's kind of interesting. It's bound with a rubber band. That's it. Just bound with a rubber band. I was not expecting this. I guess it just explains a little bit here that They had some, I guess, back printed, and they just give them out. And this is number 33. These are the names of the people who are present in this one. Jeremy Hovenar, you'll see this in a second. I was really pleased to find that he was in this one because he's a pretty interesting poet. But yeah, it just includes some poems by each of those people, and kind of an interesting $6, pretty high quality paper, and it's kind of neat how they do the rubber band, trying to keep it cheap and kind of homemade feel. All right, actually, it's kind of hard to decide what order to go in here, but I'll just go in the order I stacked it up. So this one here is a chapbook. They do quite a lot of chapbooks. And this one is Jeremy Hovenar, I'm assuming I'm saying that correctly, Insolvency. And, you know, as you can see, very nice paper, interesting typography. I feel like that's not the word I'm thinking of, but yeah, I read this chapbook years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, and it always stuck in my mind, but I just never bought it. And then just now that COVID restrictions are opening up, I went to my local independent bookstore that, you know, stocks actually good stuff as opposed to, you know, whatever new Penguin they're pushing out, or, you know, however it is. And I was pleased to find that this was still there, because I actually read this copy probably there 3-4 years ago, and no one bought it 2-3 years ago. So I will just show one of the poems, Jakob von Gunten. And if you guys want to read it, feel free to pause there. And yeah, just enjoy the ride. But anyway, this guy's one of the most interesting contemporary poets, I think. I'm excited to see what else he does. And then this is where we continue my little package that I got. So this is in their Lost Literature series, Defense of the Idol by Omar Cáceres. It's translated by Mónica de la Torre. This here is, might say a little bit here, yeah. So he's a Chilean poet. He knew and was friends with Vicente Huidobro. And this was his only book, if I remember correctly, published in 1934. And yeah, as it says there, he tried to burn all the copies after it was published. And as you can see, you know, one of the absolute highlights of this press is just the totally beautiful design. You know, just look at that. Like, that's a beautiful book. Beautiful. And then another thing I like is that they, is it on the back or is it on the front? They always tell you like where it was printed. It's probably on the front here. Yeah, so like gives you details, design, typesetting, covers printed, interiors printed. So just very high quality, very clear, first edition, first printing, that sort of thing. Lost Literature series number 23. And yeah, the poems in here are kind of neat. They kind of remind me, oh, and this is bilingual. That's one thing I also love about them, is their poetry, if it's in originally a language other than English, is always bilingual. Just awesome. This poet kind of reminds me, kind of in the, like, what's the word? I want to say bombastic, but bombastic doesn't capture it. Aggressive, maybe? Sort of, the aggressive nature of his poetry reminds me of early Vallejo poetry. So if you're interested in modernist Latin American poetry, highly recommend Omar Cáceres. And we continue with the package that I got from them. So I had originally ordered these two. Agustin Guambo and Alejandro Albarran Polanco. Those are the two. Andean Nuclear Spring and Cowboy and Other Poems. Look at those. Aren't those so beautiful? And then you can see the back, which is bilingual. So I ordered those two, and then I got this one for free. They just threw it in there. So if we're counting the extra stuff I got, it's two. Got both of those just thrown in there. Was not expecting them. So this Winston Gonzalez, I think, if I remember correctly, he's Guatemalan. Could be wrong, but Guatemalan. It's kind of an interesting writing style. Blends kind of slang with more poetic style writing, but mostly written in slang and kind of bad spelling and all lowercase. Pretty interesting as far as contemporary view of Latin American ideas about the U.S. Because you can tell this Winston Gonzalez is, at least, if not himself, is writing from a perspective of Latin America, like somewhat looking towards the U.S., either as a salvation from violence or as a cultural producer, cultural hegemon. Not a great word, but anyway, so that one's kind of neat. I was not expecting it. Not my favorite, but I mean, hey, it's a free book, so. And I'll also mention, this is in their Señal series, which is all contemporary Latin American poetry. That one was translated by Urajuan Noel. This one here is Agustin Guambo, Andean Nuclear Spring. I mean, what kind of amazing name is that? Like, come on. And this design, like, kind of a Art Nouveau style design. Maybe you'd imagine the Chrysler Building, something like that sort of design. But and then see the back, similar, just beautiful. And yeah, this guy. Then you can see like just such interesting designs they do with their chapbooks. This one's pretty neat. Look at that. In the Andean Paramo. Wonder why he mentions Paramo. That's interesting. Wonder what allusion that's to. But insectivore. So I believe that's Quechua. That might be wrong. Must be Indian, yeah, Quechua. It includes Quechua in there. And then lastly, Alejandro Albarran Polanco, who I'm pretty sure is Mexican, and he's translated by Rachel Galvin. Señal series chapbook. I didn't like this guy quite as much. Sorry, I can't keep it open. Didn't like this guy quite as much, but it's at least interesting to see what a contemporary Mexican poet is doing. So, another recommendation. Trying to keep this video relatively short. And then, as you guys might know, I've already reviewed this one and recommended it, but this was one of the first books in their Lost Literature series. Carlos Oquendo de Amat, who is Peruvian, and this is his Cinco Metros de Poemas, 5 meters of poems, and it's literally an accordion folded 5 meters of poems, all arranged, and it's bilingual too, in the same way. And this is what the design looked like back in the 20s, whenever it was originally created. Another guy who didn't really publish a whole lot in the similar way to that Omar Cáceres. So, 2 Lost Literature series, both absolutely beautifully produced. So, yeah, this is just a video to recommend and implore you to support Ugly Duckling Press, because it's definitely one of the best presses out there now, and they're hard to come by, excellent presses. Hopefully one of these days I'll start my own, if there is enough to be put out, which I think there is. So anyway, yeah, in the comments, let me know what books you have from Ugly Duckling Press. I'm sure I'm going to be adding more pretty soon because they have a pretty good lineup coming, especially from the Signal series. So yeah, let me know what you got from them. And death is a gang boss.